Planning and controlling. Planning are the plans that we made, while the controlling, it is related to plannings because it will back up the planning, meaning this controlling will ensure the accomplishment or the performance of the plan.
Planning and controlling is somehow related to each other because planning set goals for the organization and while controlling ensures their accomplishment.
Planning is related to controlling because when you encounter certain problems in an organization, you need to take an actions to address the solutions, and in order to do that, you need to plan to come up with the solutions.
Planning defines the objectives for the association and controlling guarantees their achievement. Planning chooses the control cycle and controlling gives some premise to arranging. In reality, they are related to each other and both subject to one another.
Hi guys, this is Leonid Bakiran from BSBD, and this is my answer to the question how planning is related to controlling. Since planning is the managerial process where the manager set goals and objectives for the organization, the controlling process will make sure that these plans will be successfully done. Therefore, controlling and planning is very important to each other in order to achieve the desired goals and objectives of an organization.
So planning is related to controlling because when a manager establishes plan, they need to make sure that they are actually executing it effectively because there are some possibility that they may encounter some errors or problems, especially to the internal and external factors that might affect their planning.
How planning related to controlling? Controlling and planning are related because without planning and controlling, you cannot finish the job well.
Question number 1. How planning are related to controlling? Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning sets the goal for the organization, while controlling ensures their accomplishment. Planning decides for the control process, and controlling provides sound basis for the planning. In reality, planning and controlling are both dependent on each other.
How is planning related to controlling? Planning relates to controlling because even if you have a plan, if you do not have control, nothing good will happen.
Planning and controlling are related and dependent with each other. These two management function is inseparable. Without planning, controlling becomes baseless, and without controlling, planning becomes meaningless. In planning, there are instances that the set plan will fail. So, controlling is important to check the errors and make it correct so that the set goals will accomplish as wanted.
In a way that we all know that planning sets the goals and act as a blueprint for the organizations. So in order to ensure that the goals is being achieved, doon na po pumapasok yung concept ng controlling, wherein it helps to sustain and maintain the planning function that had been made by the upper level, and also controlling points out the areas where that are lacking of so that the management will take another or create necessary plans or actions to still.
Planning and controlling are both connected and dependent on each other. It is said that planning is meaningless without controlling, and controlling is blind without planning. Planning sets the goal for organization, while controlling ensures the accomplishment of the organization.
Planning and controlling are related to each other because planning set the goals for the organization, while controlling makes sure that the goals is being attained.
Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning set the goals of the organization and controlling ensure their accomplishment. Planning decide the control process and controlling provides some basis for planning. In reality, planning and controlling are both dependent on each other.
Controlling are closely related. In planning, you are in the process of thinking of a strategy to come up with a desired goal or to succeed in the said activity. And in controlling, you are retaining, supervising, and determining the behavior of the strategy to come up with as what you plan in the planning process. So basically, planning is the core or center in controlling the flow of your strategy. Without planning, controlling or strategy becomes meaningless and effective.
Planning is the first step and controlling is the final. That's why they are inseparable. Activities are doing through planning and monitoring to check it right through controlling. Without controlling, there is a big possibility that planning will be failed because of the absence of monitoring the step-by-step on planning.
Planning and controlling are inseparable functions of management. All activities are put on rails in planning and they are kept in a good position in controlling. They are both integral parts of an organization as they are important for a smooth run of a company or a organization.
Hi, I'm Ian De La Rosa from BSBD. This is my answer on the question, how is planning related to controlling? Planning sets the goal for the organization, while controlling ensures the accomplishment. In short, if you set a plan, you need to control your decision to ensure the accomplishment of your plan.
Planning involves setting goals and objectives, and unwanted problems can be encountered, and it is inevitable. In order to attain those goals smoothly and without troubles, organizations must have controlling for errors to be avoided. These two work together to ensure everything falls into places.
Planning creates and sets goals of an organization, while controlling ensures that goals are met or accomplished, so they are dependent to each other.
How planning is related to controlling. So planning is the basis or the blueprint in order to make control in the activities, to reduce the chance of mistake. So if there's no planning, there is no controlling also.
Planning and controlling is related to each other because planning is setting a goal of an organization while controlling is a process of monitoring and correcting work performances. So to be specific, planning and controlling has no ending because an organization they continuously planning and continuously controlling their performances to provide a good service and sustain their standards.
Hi ma'am, I'm Elena Mady Guzman from 1 BSBAD. And the question that I choose is, how do you apply the concept of controlling in your daily? As a student, controlling is one of the efficient concept I can use to my day-to-day task. Sometimes we're using the concept without even noticing it. For example, having plans to do work for the whole day, efficiently finish my house chores and schoolwork.
Question number 1. How is planning related to controlling? So basically, planning and controlling are dependent on each other. Planning sets the goals of an organization and controlling ensures that the goals were achieved and accomplished. Planning sets the control process and the controlling provides sound basis for the planning.
Planning creates and sets goals of an organization, while controlling ensures that goals are met or accomplished, so they are dependent to each other.
The relation of planning to controlling is that when plans did not go as planned, you can always perform control actions to remove the gap it caused.
How is planning related to controlling? They are related to each other because controlling is another of planning. How? Because it can control process and controlling provides sound basis for planning, but if you can see, there is both independent on each others when comes on reality.
Planning is the start of everything and it is about setting and achieving goals while controlling is the process of monitoring and correcting work performance. In order to become an effective manager, these two should be focused and balanced so that it will lead to the company's success.
Planning and controlling are related in terms of making sure to keep company goals. Planning are the one who set goals to the company, and controlling are the one who ensure to accomplish the goal of the company, which are in the plans. Without controlling and planning, it looks like your own business with no goals.
Controlling provides direction to all activities and efforts for achieving organizational goals.
In these activities, we always need planning because planning is the scheme of controlling. In short, without planning, controlling is pointless. Planning precedes controlling and controlling succeeds planning.
Planning and controlling are dependent with each other. In an organization, planning is the process of setting goals, while organizing is the process of accomplishing the goals that was planned.
Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning sets a goals and develop a plan for the organization. Controlling is the way to know if the goals are being met.
Planning starts the process of management, and controlling complete that process. In simple words, planning and controlling are basically dependent on each other.
Planning and controlling are associated with each other because planning sets the goal in the organization and controlling assures that the goal or objectives of the organization is achieved.
Planning and controlling are related because the first step and the last step are very important in management. If there is no planning, the controlling will not be applied. Meanwhile, if there is no controlling, the planning might be useless because you will not be able to assess if the plan that you made has errors or needs changes.
I choose the question, how is planning related to controlling? Aside of being the both function of management, planning and controlling is related. Why? Because controlling is the one to monitor and correct the plans. Also, it compares what the best plan to do to make sure that the plans are successfully accomplished.